Welcome back, everybody, to the Breakthrough Moment podcast, where we interview successful entrepreneurs and investors and ask them what is their biggest breakthrough moment in their career. And as they share their breakthroughs with us at home have breakthroughs as well. I'm Deane with Garrett Douglas here. Garrett, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Great to be here, Zach. I appreciate you having me on.
I'm excited for this. We met just the other week, and I was like, "This guy's doing a bunch of cool things. Let's interview him. I'm sure he's got some pearls of wisdom." And we'll dive into the intro and intro you to everyone, and we'll jump into your biggest breakthrough. So, for those of you who don't know Garrett, he is a serial entrepreneur. He's a creative operator known for turning big ideas into reality through systems, structure, and disciplined execution. He's actually created his own AI recently called chatgd.com, which we'll talk about. It's a personal AI operating system designed to help everyday users organize their ideas, regain focus, think more creatively, and make better decisions under pressure. That's awesome. And really, what I was inspired by your work with specifically is your mission, which is to help people support others, network with amazing people, and explore the world and lead others with intention. And I can really sense just from the last couple of times we've had a conversation, you really do want to impact people and you really do want to make a difference. And you've got an incredible story, but let's just dive straight into what is the biggest breakthrough moment in your career that changed everything for you?
That's a tough question, Zach, because narrowing it down to just one breakthrough, I think is tough. For me, it took steps, right? It took small breakthroughs, but I can identify, two major breakthroughs in my career. Coming right out of college, I fell in love with design, logo design, web design, graphic design. I was building, flyers for my friends and, CD album cover art and things like that. And I landed this job to be a designer for a company selling ink and toner cartridges of all things. After a year of design, I naturally went into sales, operations, purchasing, and I took this small business and kind of became the right-hand man to the owner. And we scaled from a, small little $2 million company to about 12, 13 million a year revenue in just a few years. And so I had this great success in sales, ink and toner cartridges online. I was there for 15 years. And when I left that company, I was kind of lost. I was like, this is all I know. What am I going to do? I never finished college and got my degree. And I kind of had this breakthrough moment when I got this new job as a VP of sales for a custom fabrication shop. And when I was able to duplicate the success I had at my previous role in a totally different role and industry, that was my breakthrough moment. It's like, okay, it wasn't a fluke. I wasn't lucky and fell into this situation. And I had that moment inside where I believed in myself again, because when I was in transition, I went through a slump. It was tough. But rebuilding another company and scaling it in just a few years and seeing that success, that was a major breakthrough in my career.
For sure. For sure. So you mentioned you got two breakthroughs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so the next breakthrough, the next major breakthrough happened fairly recently. So after working this incredible job for 4 years or so, I burned out. I needed something. I had all my ideas. I've been in a 20-year career. I wanted to build my own stuff. I wanted to leave a legacy for others. I didn't want to die with regret. I kept having these thoughts. It's like, if you never get up to bat, if you're afraid of striking out and never get up to bat, you're never gonna have a hit. You're never gonna have a home run. You're never gonna be celebrated if you're always afraid of trying or afraid of striking out. That baseball analogy. And so when I left to go out on my own in March of last year, again, I was kind of lost. I had all these different ideas. I started creating business plans, multiple, and I was dabbling in real estate. I bought some land I wanted to invest in and develop. I bought a condo I wanted to renovate and flip and kind of I still want to get my real estate license in Utah. That's still on my goal this year. Um, and then I wanted to do a subscription based AI company. And I had this idea where I'm taking the best of the AI stuff, congregating it in one place and creating this AI hub. And that's where I came up with the idea for chatgd.com. Now throw that hyphen in there, chat-gd.com. But I was building and building for months and trying to make it perfect and usable. And I'm working with a partner in Nigeria, a developer that I met online, and he's taking my ideas, he's building this platform, we're launching updates. And then I had this breakthrough moment where I said, I need to just publish this. I need to tell people what I'm trying to build, what I'm going to do, instead of just trying to always perfect it. I need to just launch it and build in public. And it took an executive assistant that I hired for a month to funnel all of my ideas, to control all the chaos, and help me identify my top venture that I could monetize. And so that's when, I think it was December 8th, where I pushed live what we had built, and I started creating the social media accounts, and I kind of did a soft launch in December. And that's what I'm building right now. That's my main project, chatgd.com, everything AI.
Super cool. Super cool. So, yeah, I guess there's two main distinctions here with your breakthroughs. One is, real quick, before we continue, a brief message from today's sponsor. If you're an entrepreneur wanting to grow your personal brand, authority, and business through podcasting, then check out findapodcast.io. As you know, the biggest entrepreneurs in the world, they book these massive podcast tours before a big product launch or an event or book, because podcasts build trust faster than anything else online today. So it's findapodcast.io. It helps you connect with a specific podcast in your niche. It writes the pitch, it follows up in this easy CRM. It truly does save time. So you just show up, do the podcast, and your business grows. If you're curious to learn more, book in a demo at findapodcast.io. Now, let's get back to the episode. This fact that you repeated success, and that built the belief inside of you of like, I can do this. This wasn't a fluke. This wasn't luck. And I think that's a really important point, because a lot of entrepreneurs, at times, based on finding the right team or the right product or, right timing, things like this, they can get all this success and then think that they can do it again. And then with the ups and downs of entrepreneurship, start again and go, oh gosh, I can't do this again. I'm not good enough. But you actually were able to move through that and have that, I guess, breakthrough of like, oh, I can do that. And now you can launch your own AI and actually bring another product to market, which is really cool. I'm curious to know, what advice do you have for other entrepreneurs out there? Maybe they're feeling like they're trying everything. Maybe they feel like they got a bunch of luck previously, or they feel like they've fluked it, and maybe they have. But what advice do you have for them to have their own breakthrough in that?
My advice would be to keep going, believe in yourself. When the doubts creep in, when you sink to that place where you feel like, you can't do it, you want to give up, that's when you really got to just find something deep inside, and talk about it. Talk about it with others. Build that network. That's a key component to success, is having a network, having other people. Nobody can do it all on their own. You've got to at least involve other people, and talk about the challenges you're having, because the more you reach out to others, the more advice you can pull from others who have been there. I mean, that's going to strengthen you. And that's what I want to do. I want to mentor others. I would love more than anything to convince somebody to quit their job, to go all in on themselves. I would consult with them, help them build their brand, their logo, their websites, their business plans, get funding, whatever they need. I can help with that. And that's what I want to do. I want to inspire people. I want to help people. I want to advise others. And because I've learned there is no failure. If you try and it doesn't succeed, it doesn't come out the way that you expect, you're going to learn something, you're going to gain experience, and that is not a failure. That is building blocks that you can then rely on and share with others. So that you've got to have that mindset.
I'm super curious, if you could go back in time, you've been doing this for quite some time. If you could go back in time and bring all these learnings to your younger self, what would you do differently?
Man, that is a tough question. And there's a lot of things I would do differently. Hindsight's always 2020, but if I could go back, honestly, I don't think I would change much. Now that I think about it, I wouldn't have the confidence to launch this product. I had to experience what I went through. I think if I went back and left earlier, or didn't I wouldn't have learned those things. I wouldn't have had those experiences. And as weird as it sounds, I'm the type of guy that believes things happen for a reason. Things have to happen first. You sometimes have to fall off that mountain peak and experience those deep lows, to regain that drive, that success. And so, um, I don't know. I don't know if I would change anything, but I sure would have a lot more knowledge, and I think I would quickly get out of some of the issues I experienced back in the day.
So I guess what knowledge would you have liked your younger self to know about then, or what would have supported you through the tough times? Would there if you could have given your younger self some advice maybe, or words of encouragement, what would you have said to him?
I think I would say, it's not life and death. Everything in, you sometimes think, oh my goodness, if this happens, like that's the end of my reputation. That's the end of my career. That's the end of my life. And honestly, I can tell you, I've gone from making over $200,000 in a year to making less than 40,000 in a year. I've experienced that. I've had to rebuild, and I know what it's like now. And so knowing what it's like on the other side, that, hey, you can experience pain, you can experience embarrassment, you can experience failure, all these terrible things that you try to avoid. Once you experience them, and then once you're on the other side of it, you realize, okay, maybe it's not that bad. I now have that experience. Look at all these things I gained from actually trying. So I don't know. There's a long-winded answer.
It reminds me, as you're talking, I'm reminded of that experiment. I don't know if you've ever seen it. It's like they get a big pitcher of water and they fill it up and they put a rat in there, and it's got to swim, right? It's swimming and swimming and swimming for like 2 hours, and then it drowns. And they pick it out of the water and save its life, and then put it back in the jar. It's super barbaric, but they put it and then see how long it will survive um, swimming in this like glass bowl, and it ends up swimming for something like 10 or 12 hours because it knows it's fearful of where the pain associated to going through drowning, to let go and drown and then to come back alive. Obviously, high levels of gratitude and appreciation of like, oh my God, I'm alive again. But also like, I'm never going to go to that place ever again as well. And so it sounds like that a lot of the time in the entrepreneurial land, people think that it's, yeah, life and death. And people, go through these tough times, but have no idea that by going through that, you're going to be able to go through bigger, more rewarding challenges and hurdles down the track, right? Just quickly before we continue, if you're an entrepreneur out there or a high performer who wants more clarity and direction in life, or maybe you're going through some kind of turbulent transitional phase, I want to share with you something that I co-built. It's called the Life Blueprint System. It's an AI-powered goal-setting process that helps you create a personalized life blueprint, kind of like an architectural plan or a business plan, but for your life. And so it allows you to take and capture those big ideas, those amazing thoughts you have, and to turn it into a proven plan of action. And so if you want to stop guessing and start building your future intentionally and consciously, go to the lifeblueprint.io to learn more. Let's go back to the episode.
Yeah, and a lot of my mindset was stuck on money. And when you're controlled by money, when that's all you're fixated on is money, and you feel like money's the only way to be successful or to find happiness, that's one of the things that was my Achilles heel, is focusing too much on money, just consumed with supporting my family, supporting my lifestyle, things like that. And so I kind of had a mindset shift not that long ago, where money doesn't necessarily matter. I know money doesn't bring happiness, because I was at one of the most low, miserable points of my life when I was making the most money. And so I I'm a firm believer and an example of that money cannot buy happiness. And so once you kind of learn, what your true values are in life, what true happiness is about, the US dollar, now I look at, okay, having a bunch of money in an account and investing, I would rather have experiences. I would rather go on vacations and trips and see places in the world. I would rather donate money to provide a better life for others than to stash it all and save it for my retirement or whatever. I don't have the mindset of I want to work till 65 and then live off savings. Like I want to start now at age 42 building companies that can last my entire lifetime and my children's. So, yeah.
Totally. 100%. It's money will not buy us happiness. We hear it all the time, every day. Yeah, we typically focus on the money every day.
I mean,
It's a
it's a necessary
wild
evil.
rat race we live in.
Yeah, you need it to survive, and it can bring a lot of freedom, and it can bring a lot of joy, and it can bring a lot of things to people. But being fixated on it and being drowned in it to the point where it's detrimental to your health, that's what I experienced and had to come out of and have a whole new outlook on that.
So that's a really interesting point. So, and that I'm curious. So, how did you transition, or what needed to happen in your mind for you to move through that? If you had put a lot of, I guess, admiration or idolization in money, how did that change for you?
Honestly, 2 years ago today, I went through a severe bout of depression. Um, I had 3 beautiful children, a beautiful wife, nice house, great job, making good money, doing cool projects, but the stress of life, the stress of maintaining an image, the stress of managing a team and the weight of everything, maybe it was my age 40, having that midlife crisis, I don't know, but I experienced for the first time in my life, suicidal thoughts. I was to the lowest point that I was considering ending my life, and that lasted quite a while. 2 years ago today, I was on a beach in the Bahamas, a cruise ship with my family for a Christmas present, and I was thinking about how I was gonna end my life when I get back, and at that point, I realized something needs to change, and it's me. It's I can't blame my job, I can't blame my boss, I can't blame my spouse, I can't blame anybody but myself. And so it took some deep self, evaluation over the next few weeks, months to really pull myself out of that funk. And luckily, I can say I've never been that low. I've never been that depressed since. But and that was the only time in my life I've ever felt that way. And so I've kind of since then felt like I survived a near death experience. I was on a cruise ship in the Bahamas and I'm thinking about ending my life. Like something is seriously wrong. And so um having a strong support system, having people you can talk to about mental health. When you're a solo entrepreneur, especially, you're gonna start feeling some of that pressure, that stress, that anxiety. Um, and so you need to be prepared. You need to have a support system. You need to have people to talk to.
Yeah, yeah. That's real talk, right? This is the real realities of going through life and business and family and money and image and identity and time and aging. Like, so thank you for sharing that. It's not an easy thing. And I'm really curious to know, what was that moment? What was the breakthrough moment? And as you said, you did that deep evaluation, you pulled yourself out of it. Was there a moment where you could like, okay, never again, or like, what was that realization that you evaluated?
I don't know if there's a single moment, but it was a transition. And I'm still in that transition. So, um, you know, shortly after that bout of suicidal thoughts, I gave my 2 weeks notice. I left that company I was at. And for 3 months, I did a territorial sales role and I was miserable. I was kind of going through the process of elimination. Is it my job? Is it, my boss? No, that, I'm still not happy. And so I ended up going back to the company as a sales role, not as the VP of sales, not managing the team anymore, just handling what I love, my clients, sales. So I went back after a 3-month hiatus, spent 9 months in that sales role, flourishing, just sales skyrocketing, and I'm happy, but at the same time, I'm starting to feel some of the same pressures, some of the same issues that were stressing me out earlier. And I decided in March that after 9 months of coming back in that role, that's when I wanted to be my own boss. That's when I wanted the flexibility of having my own schedule. That's when I wanted to go out on my own, take the risks. And then shortly after that, I went through a divorce in April of last year. So I've survived what I'm considering a near death experience, my suicidal thoughts. I've survived a divorce. I've survived a separation of multiple companies that I thought, were going to be long term career places for me. And right now I'm surviving entrepreneurship. I'm launching a business and I'm ready to start making revenue. I'm ready to go all in on it, and I have backup plans. I can always go back to work. I'm trying to get that real estate license so I can do some other ventures. But that's what I want people listening to this podcast to know. You can get through anything in life, in business. It's not life or death. If you lose your job, it's not the end. If you want to switch to a new career, if you want to move to another country, right, Zach? You know that. You can do anything in life. Don't let the fear hold you back of trying new things, of going out and experiencing.
You're talking right now. I'm really listening to what you're saying in terms of this this life and death phrase. We've heard it before, life and death. Like to really think about that is a lot, and people do sometimes end their life because they believe that their image needed to be here, or their finances needed to be here, or they failed something and it just completely shattered everything. And for them in their world, it is life and death. Like that's so much that they have ended it, and it's like in Australia, there's wildly high levels of depression, but then suicide, and there's even high levels of suicide amongst teens these days as well. Whether it's been the bullying that we would have experienced or they would have experienced is exacerbated now through social media, and then added to the isolation and being able to work, I guess, do school at home as well. It's like so many people are suffering in silence, and so it's really great to see that you actually, I guess, tackled different elements of that to reassess, okay, what was working, what wasn't working. But it's important for anyone listening, reach out, chat to someone, just have that conversation, call the hotlines, reach out to the mental health support. Like there's a lot of support there these days. But I think the key thing that I want to like come back to is that our mind is so powerful that it will literally we create our own reality based on the words that we speak and the experiences of our perception. But if you change your perception and look at it from a different vantage point, it changes the feeling, it changes the whole scenario. And what you saw was in the way, this is in the way, I'm stuck here. You saw it now that it's on the way. It's on the way to greater and bigger things. It's not something that's in the way. So, yeah. Pause before we continue. The first way we as entrepreneurs introduce ourselves when we walk into a room, it's our energy, right? People feel that. And secondly, it's our face. How healthy do we look? So for the entrepreneurs out there who care about how they show up, I'd love to share with you personally. I've been utilizing some Korean skincare products now just for over a month, and I had no idea about them up until, even just 2 months ago. But it's by far one of the best investments I've made for my skin. I feel it's literally making me look younger, and it has this like glassy, super fresh look. And so this is the number one exported Korean beauty brand and skincare line in the world. The ingredients are second to none. Even pregnant women can utilize them, because out there's so many products that have toxins in them that really make our face not healthy over a long period of time. And so if you're out there and you want to match the energy that you output with how healthy you look, you can trial these products risk-free for 30 days. If you don't like them, send them back and get all your money back. If you're out there, if you're curious, check out the link below to learn let's get back to the episode.
Absolutely. The like you said, the mind is a powerful thing. I mean, you can convince yourself of your own reality, of your own truths. And so if you are in that funk, hey, I'm gonna leave my contact information. You're gonna be able to reach out to me on social media. I would gladly talk to anybody who's in a funk in whatever capacity that is. And and this we kind of shifted gears. We were talking entrepreneurship, business, and my career story. And I didn't know if we'd get there. This is the first time I've talked openly about my experience of kind of overcoming that suicidal thoughts. And so I'm ready to talk about hard topics. I'm at a point in my life where I want to help others. I've got a 16-year-old son myself, and then two daughters, age 13 and 12. So they're at points in their life where, they're going to go through some hard times, through those really challenging years. And so, I want to be that father. I want to be that leader. I want to be somebody open to talk about all of the hard topics, because the more you bottle it in and the more you isolate and you feel, you're the only one experiencing that, the harder it becomes. And so that's my angle.
Yeah. Yeah. No, brilliant. I'll put your details around this video. Please reach out. Anybody who's in a bit of a funk, definitely reach out and get in touch. The power of one conversation, one powerful conversation for, yeah, just reaching out, asking for help can create a new friend and a new path of moving towards just a new chapter in life. One conversation can be, meeting a business partner or a partner, or just that next opportunity that comes up. So there's so much power in just that one conversation. So if you're out there, pick up the phone, give Garrett a call, and yeah, just share. That's what humans are designed to do. Don't suffer in silence. And I think this is an interesting segue here. Looking at after that point, I'm guessing all of these things were experiences that you have now lent on to then build your AI. Is that correct? So you've probably gone, hey, I can just, having a look at what I had a look a bit of it prior to the interview. It looks like a really great software that can help people move towards their goals and really help them save a lot of time and increase the results. Tell us a bit about it.
Yeah, absolutely. So, my idea for ChatGD is I've created 24 unique personas. So, if you're used to going to ChatGPT and you're kind of talking to that same person, that generic artificial intelligence, I themed out 24 personas. So if you want to talk, um, you know, mental health guide, healthy lifestyle, I've got a specific person called the guide, and that's what they're geared to, and that's what they're trained in. And so if you want to write creative content for your website, I've got a creative copywriter persona. So I've got 24 unique themed AI personas that you can chat with. Um, and then I've also got brand kits. If you want to create a new brand, you can easily, use a brand kit and then start your own brand, and it'll kind of help you create all of those visuals and documents that you would need. And so it's geared toward anybody, whether it's a beginner just getting into AI and wants to learn it and experience it, or that entrepreneur. So there's so many unique ways to use AI, and I'm trying to make it simple and congregated in one easy to navigate place.
This was one of your other breakthroughs that you shared before. So I'd like to circle back to that. Like, how did you create? You mentioned that you met somebody, but how did you take that idea and actually build something out of it? Because looking at the website, and it looks brilliant. Like, it looks really, really cool. So do you have any advice for other entrepreneurs that are taking those ideas and wanting to actually birth them and bring them to life?
Yeah, and so you need to go out and talk to people. Go out and share your ideas. If you bottle up your ideas and try to do it all yourself, you're going to be moving at a snail's pace. So I have the philosophy of share your ideas with others. Find other people who've either done it or done something similar, piggyback off that, get them excited. But yeah, I met a guy, a young African American man. He just had graduated college and got a degree. He's in Nigeria, and so he can't leave the country because he got this government assistance degree. And so he can't leave and come to America and get a job. And he reached out through LinkedIn. We were messaging. He was telling me he's a web designer. He can develop apps, websites, things of that nature. And I said, I've got this really great idea. I've been creating visuals. I've been designing it, but I can't code. I've been thinking of using, AI to try to code it myself. And then I basically sent him some images, and he just started mocking up some really cool designs and running with it. And I said, okay, let me get you a little payment, and let's partner up. And you are seeing my vision, and you have the skill set I don't have that complements what I need. And so together, like just this morning, we did another Zoom call. He's building, the login access. Right now, it's all free. But pretty soon, when we launch our new update, you'll be able to use 3 of the 24 personas for free. You'll be able to use some of the features, but then it'll be $8 a month subscription to unlock all 24 personas, to use all of the pro tools, all of the everything in the library. And so it just really unlocks a whole new world of AI. And so I just feel like for $8 a month, people who aren't quite ready to commit to some of the other platforms that might be $20 a month, maybe they'll start with what I've got, get excited about it, and then that might lead them to some of these other places and where they're building apps or they're building things with AI. And I want to inspire people to use AI to better your life, to better your job, and implement it, and or just use it to be fun and creative as well. Whatever you like. I mean, it's going to have it all.
That's awesome. That's super cool. I'll put the link around the video as well for people to check out. That free version sounds like a no-brainer. So, and then $8 a month. That's super, super affordable. I'm super curious. What other AIs are you using at the moment? If you're diving into this space, I'm sure you've got some new insights into what's trending or what's really working. How are you using AI at the moment? And do you have any recommended other AIs that you're using?
Yeah. So, I mean, I use ChatGPT a lot. I pay the $20 a month. I think it's for the pro version or whatever. And so I really utilize that open AI platform. And then I use Meta AI. I like to animate images using Meta AI. And so one of my favorite things to do is to use, I think it's Dolly 3 or whatever, but to generate creative images using artificial intelligence, and then take that image into Meta AI to animate it, and then create, I think you can go up to like a 21-second clip. And so you can create these fun little short animations where you're creating the initial artwork or the initial imagery in Chat GPT, uploading it to Meta AI, creating your animation, and then publishing that across your social media or using that for fun marketing ideas. And so that's one of the fun things that I've been into lately. Replit is another really fun AI program where you can basically just tell it to build you an app, your idea, tell it to build you a website, and it literally codes it, builds it, and you can use it. And it's amazing, and reiterate it and add features and change it. So there are so many fun ways, but you've got to know all the places to do it, and then how to do something here, take it into this one, and then elevate it, and then take that to there and create this. And so that's how ChatGD was born. If I can take the most brilliant minds that I follow, who are light years ahead of me, take all the stuff they're using, the stuff I'm using, and make it simple, organized, easy to understand, and in one place. That's where I think I'll find success.
Amazing. It's just so interesting hearing how everyone's using it or not using it. But it sounds like you're really, yeah, optimizing it for what you're using and how you're operating every day. It's just saving so much time and allowing us to achieve so much in a shorter period of time. It's so great. Um, all right. Well, my favorite question, right? Favorite and final question is, if you were to challenge the audience today to do something different or change something up or let something go in their life, what would you challenge them to do today or this quarter or this year to really help them have their own breakthrough?
I would say if you have that nagging thought, if you continually have that idea to do something good or something big, or if it continually comes, that is a sign. Don't ignore it. Find a way to make it happen. Find a way to do it. I'm not saying if you have this side hustle idea, quit your job and go all in on it and commit to it. I mean, maybe that's the case, but find a way to start it. Just get started. You don't need to understand step 2 and step 3 and beyond. You just need step 1. If you start thinking past step 1, you're going to just talk yourself out of it. You're going to create scenarios in your mind and then backtrack. Just focus on step 1, get there, and then once you're there, focus on step 1 again. It's always step 1, right? If you're just focused on the next step. So don't overthink too far ahead. Commit to that nagging idea that keeps coming to your mind and go for it. Follow your dreams. Believe in yourself.
Super cool. Super cool. This is the time, 2026. What better time but now? If not this, or if not that thing, then what else are you going to do, guys? If you found value from today, if you know someone who should listen to this and be connected to Garrett's story and breakthrough, please share this with them. Uh, and comment below. What has been your biggest breakthrough moment in your listening today? We love reading the comments, and I'm always making and trying to improve the podcast where I can from what you guys share. So thank you guys for watching. Any final comments at all?
No, I appreciate everything, Zach. I'm excited to go back and watch some of your other episodes. I've been following you for a while now, and I'm very inspired by what you do and the life you live. So I really want to understand your big breakthroughs as well. So I'm gonna have to go dig into your story and listen to all your breakthroughs as well, because I know you've lived an amazing life so far.
Share now if you want me to share one, or
I've been wanting to ask you, what was your biggest breakthrough? And I couldn't find the right spot. So if we've got time, I would love to hear yours.
yeah, we can make time. Yeah, you mean like specifically for business or personal, or like for this podcast? Like, as you said, there's breakdowns and breakthroughs every day of the week.
I want I guess, what was your biggest breakthrough in life? Not necessarily career or business minded, just in life in general. Where was your biggest breakthrough?
I think one of my biggest breakthroughs was my family moving from the west coast of Australia to the east coast. So at the time where I was going to school and who I was spending time with, the people, the guys, my friends, um, we were just being kids, doing things, as kids do. But unfortunately, there are a lot of um, drugs around at a very early age. And luckily, I was able, well, I wasn't, just my family moved. By divine intervention, my family moved. And so, but I found out some really bad stories of what happened when my friends at the time got into some really bad drugs. And it really affected some of their family members and things like this, where they went to hospital and had a lot of mental health issues. And so I don't know if I would have been a part of that, but I definitely would have been around that. And I don't know what would have happened. And so I believe that was divine intervention by God to say, get out of this environment, because who I was spending time, well, forever, anyone I spend time with, I become, it impacts me. I want to belong. I'm human. I want to connect. I want to be, seen as part of the pack. So in my mind, as a kid, without a very strong mindset, I don't know what could have happened. And so, and then because I was able to move, I was able to go to Sydney and a better school and meet more, I guess, more movers and shakers. As a better economy in a different area of Australia. So I was able to network and have better opportunities for business and sales and things like that. Um, I think another time that was a really interesting breakthrough moment was when I started my first business when I was 18. And my mum is a masseuse, so she would have these clients that would come and have a massage in the house. And then I would say, "Oh, I read the book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad."
Yeah.
And he told this story of how he had a poor dad and a rich dad. I kind of related with that story, and I was like, "Oh, I'm going to start being a bit more resourceful and asking better questions, and we'll see what happens." But I ended up asking one of the clients of my mum, "Hey, do you want your car to be cleaned while you're getting a massage?" And he said, "Yeah, sure." So it became this, bit of a business while she was massaging her clients. I ended up starting my own little business from home.
Really
as
cool.
as uh, as a bit of an entrepreneur early on. And then the real interesting breakthrough happened when I was about 9 years old. My dad bought me my first personal development program, and it was Kevin Trudeau's Mega Memory program because I my dad was so annoyed I kept losing my cap and my hat at my friend's place. So he was like, "I'm going to buy you a memory program to help you with your memory." So I was like, "Okay, sure." And I remember listening to these cassette tapes and sharing affirmations of, "I've got a mega memory. I recall easily. I remember easily. I've got a mega memory." And really getting into affirmations and goal setting from a really young age. And so I think that set a really strong frame to value personal development and learning and reading and going to courses, doing a whole bunch of the things I've done today.
Yeah, set you out on the right direction to seek after those inspirational books or guides or things to learn from. That's awesome. Self-development is something that everyone needs to instill in every child at a young age because, you've always got to be trying to improve yourself your whole life.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, this has been I haven't had that question before, so thank you for asking me. And yeah, as you know, there's so many breakthrough moments that have changed our lives, and will continue to. And it's just about doing our best every day and realizing the perception, as you said, getting out of our head and putting a different frame to it. Business is not life and death; it is opportunity and feedback, and it changes every single day. So, really, yeah, really appreciate your time. Thank you for sharing the breakthroughs. We look forward to seeing you really soon. And everyone at home, like, share, and subscribe.
Thank you so much. Take care, Zach.